Yo everybody, it's Anime James here, giving you another Pokemon Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. So today, I've actually got kind of an RU team against an OU team. My team's not really RU; it's just like a few Pokemon are RU. I don't really think Primarina is in the RU category, but yeah, this battle was actually pretty fun, and I just hope you guys all enjoy it. Okay, so in this Pokemon battle, I decided to start off with my Butterfree because it knows Sleep Powder, and my opponent actually decides to start off with their Deoncé? I don't know, however you pronounce it. And so I decided to go for a Sleep Powder, and since, you know, my Butterfree doesn't really have any moves that can counter it, I actually raised this Butterfree from Omega Ruby, so I didn't teach it Giga Drain from Pokemon Red and Blue. So I use the Sleep Powder. I swap out to my Grand Bull because my Grand Bull actually knows Earthquake, and the DNC actually wakes up the next turn, and it's going to get the Diamond, the Diamond Storm off me, and that's gonna cut down my Grand Bull's HP really low, down to 81. And now they're going to go for the Earth Power, and luckily my Grand Bull is actually specially defensive. She actually has the Assault Vest, so I go for an Earthquake. And you know, since I'm kind of afraid that my Grand Bull won't be able to survive this next turn, and I could probably use it for like you know, Garchomp maybe. But so I decided to swap out to my Musharna. And you know, it's gonna go for a Moonblast, and that's not really gonna do much because my Musharna is actually very defensive. It's just like really fat, and so I get my Musharna, and you know, the Deoncé is going to use the Diamond Storm, and so my Musharna is bulky enough to survive with just half its HP. So I decided to go for a Yawn. Pretty much going to try and make it go to sleep again, and because I know that they're going to swap out because they don't want their Deoncé to fall asleep, so I decided to go for a Moonlight, waiting for whatever next Pokemon they're going to swap out to, and use Yawn on that. You know, just going to keep making them swap out, and so they're going to send out their Tapu Koko, and they're going to use the Electric Terrain, and I'm going to use the Moonlight, and I go for a Yawn. And keep in mind that I do not fully know about the typing terrains like Electric Terrain, Fairy Terrain, all that. I did not know that Electric Terrain prevents moves that cause the Pokemon to fall asleep. So now they're going to set out the Metagross, and I'm going to go with the Yawn, and that's going to completely fail because I do not know anything about the elemental terrains. So I decided to swap my Musharna out with my Grand Bull, so I could oh no, not this turn yet, but I just decided to wait out the Electric Terrain by just spamming Moonlight, and I actually didn't put any PP ups in Moonlight, so at this point I'm now down to 3, and so now they're gonna swap out to their Metagross and go for the Garchomp, and I'm going to swap my Musharna out with my Butterfree because I was thinking they might go with an Earthquake again, and I go for the Sleep Powder because I keep forgetting about the Electric Terrain, and it's preventing the sleeping moves. So that's gonna knock off my Focus Sash. I'm gonna go for the Sleep Powder, and I completely fail. And once you know it, the Electric Terrain actually wears off the next turn. Like, seriously, I could have gone for a Quiver Dance. But anyway, my Butterfree is gonna go down. I'm gonna swap out to my Grand Bull, you know, just to get the Intimidate off it. You know, just to try and... Oh, no, I go out to my Primarina. Ugh. Actually, just watch it. So I swap out to my Primarina, trying to scare it, making it think that I'm probably gonna go for like a Moonblast or an Ice Beam. But really, I'm actually going to go for my Z move and take out its Tapu Koko or whatever they're going to bring out. And now the Tapu Koko is going to go down to that Oceanic Operetta. And now they're going to swap out to their Kartana, and here's where I'm definitely going to predict that they're going to use a Leaf Blade. So I swap out to my Musharna to take the hit, and it actually gets a crit, but my Musharna is just bulky enough just to survive its Leaf Blade. It's actually a bold-natured Musharna. So I'm going to restore a little bit of HP with the leftovers, and I'm gonna go for a Moonlight, you know, just to wait out for the electric terrain to go away. And you know, if it wasn't for that leftovers, my Musharna probably would have died, probably would have went out there. But it luckily survives with 11 extra HP. So I'm gonna restore some HP for my Musharna. I'm just gonna keep spamming Moonlight until the electric terrain goes off. Then I'm gonna go for a Yawn. So they're going to go for a Leaf Blade again, hoping that it doesn't crit it, so it doesn't crit again. Luckily it doesn't, and I'm going to go for a Moonlight again, and I'm going to restore my HP once again. And about the next turn is probably where I run out of PP for the Moonlight, so I'm going to have to, in this battle, for the rest of the battle, I'm going to have to smart out everything else. So they're going to go for the Smart Strike. They were probably thinking I might have swapped out to a different Pokemon, so I'm going to go for another Moonlight, draining at, no longer having any PP for the Moonlight, but luckily the electric terrain goes off, and so I'm gonna use the Yawn. They're obviously gonna swap out, so I'm gonna use the Yawn on whatever they're gonna use next. So here comes the Yawn, and I'm gonna go for a swap out to my Grand Bull, you know, just to get so it could sack off my Grand Bull. He did pretty well in this battle, so you know, you did pretty well, Grand Bull. So I'm gonna get the Intimidate off, gonna cut down its attack by half, by 1/5. They're gonna go for the Earthquake, knocking down my Grand Bull. I keep thinking of the move knock off when I say they're gonna knock it out. Anyway, I decide to swap out with my Dunsparce, which actually got buffed in this generation. Now Dunsparce learns Coil and Dragon Rush, which is really great if you equip it with Roost and Body Slam. So now they're going to swap it to their Kartana, which I completely forgot about the move Sacred Sword. I barely even see it when on Wi-Fi battles, so the only Pokemon I know that can use Sacred Sword is Keldeo and H-Slash. So my Dunsparce is going to go down, unfortunately. I was not able to unleash the ultimate flinch dragon that is Dunsparce. So I decided to swap out to my Delphox. They're going to be expecting a fire move, like maybe Fire Blast or Flamethrower. So, and I'm going to go for Mystical Fire anyway, you know, because I didn't want to risk them staying in. So they're going to swap out to their Garchomp. But luckily, my Delphox knows Dazzling Gleam, so I'm going to take out this Garchomp, getting rid of it. I was actually afraid that it might wake up the next turn, but actually my Delphox is faster because it has the Timid nature. And so the Garchomp is going to go down. My Delphox is going to lose some HP because it's holding Life Orb. And so the Metagross, I was afraid that my Delphox wasn't going to be faster than this Metagross. I was afraid it was going to be Choice Scarf, but my Delphox is actually faster, and I get the Fire Blast off it. I was really afraid that they were going to take it out with the Earthquake, and I wasn't going to be able to win the match because I really need my Delphox for the Kartana. So they're going to send out their Frostlass. So I decided to swap out my Musharna, because I really want to save my Delphox for the Kartana. And so they're going to go for the Ominous Wind. And it's not really going to do much because my Musharna is actually really, really fat, so he's going to withstand it. And this next turn, they're actually going to go for the Will-O-Wisp. I don't know if it might have been a misclick or they just didn't know what Musharna's ability was, but my Musharna actually has the Synchronize ability, which is going to pass back the burn. Now this is where my opponent thinks that we might be evenly matched, but guess what? my Musharna actually has Heal Bell. I transferred this over from Omega Ruby, and before I did that, I taught it Heal Bell. Pretty good thing, though, because, you know, synchronized ability. It's a pretty cool ability. So they're going to go for the Destiny Bond, but that's going to fail because I'm actually going to be using the Heal Bell, getting rid of my burn, because I really want to use this Musharna for the Kartana and use Yawn on it. And so they're going to go for the Destiny Bond again, but that's going to fail because, you know, Destiny Bond got nerfed. Now it only works like once during a turn. If the Destiny Bond doesn't work, then it's going to fail the next turn. So I'm going to go for a Psy Shock, completely knock down the Frostlass. And the game is pretty much mine. So they only have like 2 Pokemon left. That's the Deontay and the Kartana. And, you know, I actually had a plan for this. So I'm going to go for a Yawn if they're going to... And so my Musharna luckily survives that, thank God. Thank Arceus, I mean. And so I'm gonna get the Yawn off, but and so this is where I plan to probably sack off my Musharna, and they're gonna go for the Diamond Storm, but luckily, guess what? It misses! So I'm gonna go for the Psy Shock, completely knocking down this Deontay. And now the game is going to be mine because my Musharna is just bulky enough to survive whatever kind of attack this Kartana is going to use, thanks to the leftovers and its IVs and EVs. So I'm going to get the Yawn off it, so it can fall asleep the next turn. It's going to go for a Leaf Blade, and I'm hoping it doesn't crit. Luckily it doesn't, and I'm going to get the Yawn off. And now it's going to be drowsy, and this next turn I'm just going to go on ahead and sack off my Musharna, gonna let it go down. It did really, really well in this Wi-Fi battle. I was afraid it wasn't gonna do well, but it did. Thank you, Arceus. And so my Musharna is gonna go down, and now it gets the Beast Boost, but it's not really gonna matter because my Delphox is actually going to come in this next turn, and it's gonna finish it off. And I didn't really want to risk the miss with Fire Blast, so I just go for a Mystical Fire, and it's luckily enough to knock down this Kartana, but it actually holds the Focus Sash, leaving it with just 1 HP. But luckily, it stays asleep this next turn, and I'm gonna get the Mystical Fire off, and that's going to be the game. Okay, yeah guys, so that's pretty much it for today's Wi-Fi battle. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I really did myself. And you know what? I'm gonna get back to Pokemon Sun pretty soon. So I hope you all enjoyed this. Have a good night, and I'll see you all next time. Later!